I started coming to Asia for gigs in the late 90s, early 2000s. The first time that I saw sneakers even just wrapped up like this in a store, and like walking into a sneaker shop that truly like cataloged something like Jordans, where it'd be like, whoa, the ones, the twos, the threes, like just in a row presented, you know, in such a mint condition. And there was a similar thing shopping for records too, because I was still playing vinyl, you know, in those years. If we're talking about like 2002 or 3, you know, I was like 20 at the time, so I was kind of like coming into my own, even in terms of like how I wanted to dress. Before the internet really connected the whole world, Tokyo would be like truly one of the top cities in the world where you could go and just find things that were rare. Now, you know, in the sort of like sneaker drop era that we're in, it's easy to forget 20-something years ago that wasn't really the way that most people approach things. So I would come here and be like, whoa, they have all of these on a wall, cataloged, available, like in one place, and it would just trip me out. I was 15, 16, 17, participating in these DJ battles, but I was still a high school student. So I was literally doing homework on the plane and then showing up at school the next Monday back in Montreal, Canada, trying to not fall asleep in class. I won the first thing that I entered, the DMC World Championships in '97, but in a way, the next year I lost, and like, I feel like that loss shaped me as much as the first victory, you know, because I think there's like a big lesson on just like learning how to fall and get back up. In like 2006, 2007, I started producing music during this sort of like blog era and like mashing together electronic music and hip hop, and, you know, founded Fool's Gold with my friends right around that time in 2007. That's when we found Kid Cudi and put out Day and Night. Being associated with certain records that sounded like nothing else, that was new for me. So I went from being known as like a technical sort of scratch prodigy kid to then in the sort of, you know, blog era, being known as someone associated with just fresh new sounds. I think people forget mixed CDs were bootlegs essentially, so you can't legally sell them now, but there's fans that know some of these mixes that I made. There was something called Dirty South Dance, Volume 1 and 2. There's this mix called the Kanye Soul Mix Show, back when I toured with Kanye, where I did a mix of the soul samples that he was pulling from. So those are mixes that like the core fans know that you can't just go and find online now. The threes were just like, that was my cornerstone, that was my bedrock for like years and years. You know, my reliable sneaker, some raw denim jeans and a pair of threes, the black cement joints. I definitely came back from certain Japan trips with like a suitcase full of high top dunks in a bunch of colorways. This shape is like a whole era for me. And, you know, with the tongue out. To me, like the DJ's main job is to rock the party and to leave like a memorable impression with an audience. You know, so it's not just rocking the party, because you could play, you know, jukebox hits or like the equivalent of a Spotify playlist and people can have a good time, but they won't remember it. I do meet DJs who don't come from scratching, who tell me they want to learn how to scratch now, and I'm always psyched, because like I don't want scratching to remain this sort of like vintage 80s and 90s thing. I want scratching to like go into the future. I played in a castle in Italy once. On a friendly level, maybe the fans would want to see my boy Craze and I go back at it, but I don't know if we'll do it. I think producing a hit record is kind of harder than a DMC battle, because there's a big element that's out of your control. Look, in theory, vinyl is, you know, there's nothing like it, it's the best, but I don't miss traveling with heavy-ass crates. I grew up on like old classic rock, so like Zeppelin and the Stones and stuff like that. Like I'll never stop listening to that. Nas. That I was a physics major. Sambas or Vans skate highs, one of those. Technical, eclectic, genre bending. I would love to go to the 70s and just see some of those records made. Two things. One, practice. Like, you can't replace that. And also nowadays, I think it's important to just really define what your style is, because there's too many DJs out there. So you got to stand out, and the best way to stand out is to present something that's like really well defined. Not that different from what I'm wearing. I could try these. I could try these. Could I try this too? Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. ありがとうございます。